The First Testament of Arcanus and Veritas.
Symphonie numéro 1.
Segment sinfonique. D. Tema del segmento: alzarsi, get up. Tonica principale del capitolo: Fa F. Progressione musicale principale del capitolo: ciclo diminuito cromatico minore. Suite sinfonico D. 2 fantasia, andante sostenuto e curioso, le parole di nessuno, L muri contro la libertà.
Compositional form, Chapter 4. Descending, traditional form, Chapter 8. The wisdom before the written word. As the celestial vision continued, Samuel, Arcanus, and Veritas observed the early humans, their lives guided by the stories and teachings passed down through generations. Arcanus pointed to a group of people gathered around a fire, their faces illuminated by the flickering light.
Look closely, Samuel. These people are sharing the tales that will shape their lives and ensure their survival.
Samuel watched as an elder of the tribe spoke, his voice rich with the weight of knowledge. The man spoke of the importance of avoiding certain animals, of the dangers of consuming flesh that had not been properly drained of blood. Arcanus continued,
In a time before the written word, these stories served as a vital means of preserving and transmitting knowledge. The rules and guidelines embedded within them were born of hard-earned experience and observation.
As the vision shifted, Samuel saw a young hunter preparing to bring down a wild boar. Just as he was about to loosen his arrow, the hunter hesitated, remembering the elder's words about the unclean nature of certain beasts. Arcanus added, a knowing smile on his face.
The wisdom in these tales, for whatever reason they understood at the time, often served to protect the people from unseen dangers.
Arcanus continued,
In this case, this hunter might have just saved himself by following his faith, as this tasty and calorically dense meal that can easily feed a dozen or more people, in the moment, seemingly hard to pass up. However, this meal may also potentially be his last. Following his faith may have just saved him from potential death from foodborne illness that at this time of limited knowledge would surely kill him. They don't exactly know why it could cause death, but surely noticed a pattern of the fates of those that ignored the teachings of their elders. If you think food poisoning is bad, wait until you get brainworms.
Arcanus laughed.
He's seen other hunters ignore the tribe elders and remembers their death, and not due to stoning either, but rather due to illness, indeed seeming to prove their beliefs. Perhaps God would enact swift punishment for disobeying his commands through gut-wrenching sickness. I'm sure the heat of the desert won't help him either should he get sick. By avoiding animals that had died of unknown causes or those considered unclean, these faithful followers were shielding themselves from the threat of sickness and death.
Samuel watched as the hunter lowered his bow, choosing instead to track a deer, an animal deemed clean by the stories of his people.
So, these tales, passed down through the generations, were not just myths or legends, but contained practical knowledge essential for survival.
Arcanus agreed.
Indeed, Samuel. In a world without modern medicine, or an understanding of the types of sciences, still not even fully understood even in your own time, these stories acted as a first line of defense against the many perils that threatened early human populations, which, as you've seen, doesn't require much.
Arcanus added,
For even a cut that in a later time would be considered bad but survivable, at this time is a sure death sentence. Why? Even a minor cut could be fatal due to infection, or perhaps even lead to having an entire limb cut completely off, and with the pleasure of no anesthesia as well. The threat of death or severe pain was a very real daily threat.
The vision shifted once more, revealing a group of children huddled around an elder, their eyes wide with wonder as they listened to the tales of their ancestors. The old man spoke of the importance of cooking meat thoroughly, of the dangers of consuming raw flesh. Arcanus leaned closer.
Whose children, Samuel? are the key to their people's future. By absorbing and remembering these stories, they are ensuring that the hard-won knowledge of their forebears will endure, guiding and protecting future generations.
Samuel nodded, a newfound appreciation for the power of these ancient tales growing within him.
I see so much of what we know, so many of the rules and guidelines that shape our lives have their roots in these stories. Even if we don't always understand the reasons behind them, they are still working to keep their believers safe.
Arcanus placed a gentle hand on Samuel's shoulder.
Whether or not we come to new understandings of knowledge, it must be said the wisdom of the past, Samuel, is a precious gift. For a time, when the written word simply didn't exist, it was up to each successive generation to cherish and preserve their stories, to pass them on to their kin.
Arcanus continued.
I'm certainly not saying all, but rather some of these stories and ancient practices still can provide wisdom, even in more modern times, as they can still provide practical knowledge. Even if the reasoning is faulty, the conclusion could be correct, or in this case, life-saving. Many believers of their practices hold dearly to that truth.
Arcanus then grinned as he added,
And in a time when there was no written word. And what better way to guarantee the next generation will remember these lessons than scaring the shit out of them by the threat that God will spank them or send them to an eternal hellfire if they disobey.
He giggled as he said,
I mean, it not only ensures it's memorable, but it also satisfies a parent's insatiable joy of mentally damaging their children with creative, scary stories. I mean, I love scaring and mentally damaging those little bastards, and I don't even have kids.
He sarcastically sighed, yet with a tinge of jealousy, and said,
Oh, what it must be like to have a kid that is stuck with you and can't run away.
As the vision began to fade, the ancient humans and their world blurring into a soft haze, Samuel felt a deep sense of connection to those who had come before. Their stories, their knowledge, were a part of him, a part of all humanity, linking them across the vast expanse of time. Arcanus and Veritas, too, seemed to be fading, their forms growing translucent and indistinct. But their voices remained clear, echoing in Samuel's mind.
Remember, Samuel,
Arcanus whispered, his words a gentle reminder.
The tales we tell, the stories we share, are more than just entertainment or fancy. They are the tools with which we shape our world, the keys to our survival and our growth.
The wisdom of the past, the knowledge embedded in the stories of his ancestors was a treasure beyond measure, a guide and a guardian in a world full of wonders and perils alike.